The next technique we're going to cover is called seeding, and this is where normally pairs of tiny stitches are grouped together to cover an area. In this example here on my pomegranate I've used two different colours, but you don't have to do that. And on my tree of life here I've used shading with only one little stitch, and I've started quite dense here and just put the odd one in the centre, so you can see the effect that that has. On the wheel here I've drawn this shape with 5 circles. I suggest if you want to replicate that you sort of draw it on a piece of paper first, because it's quite difficult to get it even. And I'm now using a thinner piece of silk for this because I think it'll be easier to demonstrate. I'm going to do pairs of stitches, so they just lie next to each other. And you do them in different directions. So for example, this one is going diagonally. It doesn't matter whether you do the right hand one or the left hand one first. And then I can do one in another direction down here. So they're just tiny little stitches. You'll be pleased to know that I haven't outlined the shape in split back stitch this time. You could do if you wanted to, but I'm going to just see what this looks like without. So the important thing is that you do the stitches in a different direction each time, and that they're going to be in pairs. Now don't start yet. What I plan to do is to fill these areas around the edge and then do a few less on the inside, so on the inside of the shape. So I want you to see what that looks like before you get started. You can see here that I've covered this shape quite densely at the edges, and what I'm going to do in the centre is do them slightly less densely. So just put a few in the centre. My thread is variegated, which works quite well, so you get different colours coming through. If you haven't got that, you can use 2 different colours, or one colour works as well. So whatever you fancy doing. So just put a few less in the centre in any direction. And it doesn't matter if the stitches touch each other. It's quite difficult to get them not to touch each other in this small space. We'll see what this is going to look like. If I don't like it, I can always fill it in. Best to do it that way. You don't want to be taking them out. So let's leave it at that. I'm going to take my blue lines out and we'll see what that looks like. If we don't like what it looks like, we can always put an outline afterwards. This is my completed seeding. I've removed my blue marks and I think I'm going to leave it like that. But if you want to put an outline around the edges, you could do. You also may need to put a few extra stitches in when you take your blue lines out to fill in. So we're going to move on to the next stitch now, which is going to be velvet stitch.